In today's weekly Forex forecast, we're talking about the DXY, the euro, the pound, the dollar versus the Canadian dollar, and also gold. All right, guys, so back from a little vacation that we took. So happy to be back. It was nice to get away for a little bit, but I am happy to get back to the charts and start making these videos for you guys. All right, so looking at the DXY, first of all, we do have the market coming into some really key support here this week. Now, at the same time, though, this market is looking increasingly weak just because the channel that we've talked about, if I go out here to the 3-day time frame, this is what we've talked about here in recent weeks, where you can see where the DXY, ever since the start of 2023, has been moving within this large ascending channel. Now, back here, the market failed to extend beyond 106.5 and head up here to test the top of this channel around 109. Now, personally, guys, I'll be fully transparent. I thought that that's what we were going to get based on this candle right back here. There is an imbalance up here in this area. Now, it doesn't mean that we can't get it over the coming months, but right now the DXY is once again testing key support down here without coming up there to test 109. So this constant pressure right here, okay, is starting to look a little bit more bearish for the US dollar. So that is something to be aware of if you are trading the major currency pairs. Now, with that said though, the DXY is still technically above support. Okay, now we saw a pretty aggressive sell-off on Friday. I was a little bit surprised to see just how aggressive this candle right here was on Friday, simply because it was a relatively quiet day and it was a Friday. So I was surprised to see the DXY close back below 102.6 again after closing above it on Thursday. So we'll see how this plays out early this week, okay? If we get the DXY, closing below this area down here, below these two lows, then we do have this area around 101.9 that you have to be aware of. So that's why I have this green box down here, really between 101.9 all the way up there toward about 102.2 or so, because this is going to be the support area for the DXY, where in my opinion, you really don't want to be shorting the US dollar in this area, because notice back here, okay, 101.9, we've got this low from back here. Okay, so we've got this low here, we've got these lows through here. So this has been a pivot for the DXY for some time. Now we also have, again, the bottom of this channel that comes in right up there around 102.25. Okay, so again, this down here is going to be support for the DXY. If we were to see the DXY get below this and stay below that, then we could really see the DXY start to unwind toward levels like 100.85. Now, alternatively, if we get a bounce from here or a fake out from here, then you're looking at resistance up here around 103.5. Okay, so this is the area that the DXY recently broke down from based on this smaller descending channel. Okay, so off of these highs up here and these recent lows, okay, notice what happened once we got the breakdown. Breakdown here, retest right off of that key level. Okay, and there is also an imbalance for the DXY up here in this area based on that upper wick. So right now we've got resistance up here around 103.5, and we've got support down here between 102.25 all the way down toward about 101.9. So next up is the EURUSD. And again, I was a little bit surprised to see this Friday rally just because it was a quiet day in the markets, yet we did see some really aggressive moves here from the major currency pairs. Now, with the EURUSD, we still have it moving within this ascending channel right here off of these lows down here. And then we've got these highs up here in this area. Okay, so this is what I wrote about last week where I said the euro came into some resistance and we could see a pullback, which we did between this high and this low down here. Now, we did see a perfect bounce from 1.095. Okay, so we did see a bounce from this area. And again, very aggressive rally on Friday to close back above 110. So for the week ahead, okay, for early this week, we are looking at 110 as new support potentially if the EURUSD can hold above this early this week. Okay, so if it can hold above this area through here, this is going to be key support. And we've got resistance coming in just above this high back here. Now, the reason I have resistance marked above this high is twofold. First of all, it's the top of this ascending channel, okay? Second, if you go back here to the start of this year, okay, this is the fake out that we talked about here on this channel and also website. And this is also what we traded, okay, in the VIP area. So this right here was a fake out from the euro to start 2024. Now, this red box right here, this is an open imbalance. This candle right here, notice what happened the very next candle. We saw a very shallow retrace into this area. So there is an imbalance in this area, which if you move over here, that comes in just above this high from last week. Okay, so if we're going to see a pullback from the euro, in my opinion, we probably see the market sweep that high from last week, come up here into this area, and then we get a pullback. Now, if we get a larger pullback, okay, that's going to depend on things like this trend line down here. So if we look at the 4-hour time frame, you can see where we have a very nice trend line that is shaping up here off of these lows down here. We've got this one and this one through here. Okay, so resistance comes in up here in this area right around 110.60, and we do have support again around 110 along with this trend line from the start of August. The pound also put in a very aggressive rally on Friday, given the fact that the DXY did sell off considerably. And right now we have the market range bound for the week ahead between this area right around 1.289 all the way up toward about 1.3. Okay, so you can see that back here, this was the high from right back here on this candle, okay, on this wick. And we also have a little pivot through this area, okay? So the fact that the market reclaimed this means that 1.289 is going to flip to support for the week ahead. And then we do have this area around 1.3 that is going to be resistance for the pound. Now, this area up here, okay, this is something that we talked about in recent weeks, which if I go here to the 3-day, you can see where I still really like this channel here for the pound, okay? You can see that it wasn't perfect through this area. However, for the most part, we've got these lows down here, and we've got all of these highs up here for GBPUSD. Okay, so this is going to be resistance 1.3. We've also got this channel resistance up here just above that mark that is also going to be resistance for the pound. Now, given the fact that the market is continuing to pressure this area, it does look, increasingly bullish. However, the one thing I'm going to say, this goes for all of these currency pairs today, is that these moves we saw on Friday, okay, these were Friday moves, which means lower volume, okay? Keep that in mind. So it's going to be imperative for this market to find strength here early this week, because if we see it completely return to this on, Monday or Tuesday, that's going to start to look a little bit more bearish. You don't want to see an immediate retest of this area down here for the pound. If we do, then again, that could indicate a fake out, okay, Friday being a fake out, and get that move lower. So it's going to be imperative to see the market hold above this 1.29 area. You do want to see a rounded retest though for strength. If we see an immediate retest, then that could point to a pullback for the pound, just because again, Fridays can be very tricky because of the lower volume. So like I always say, you have to take breakouts on Fridays with a grain of salt. So next up, I want to touch on the dollar versus the Canadian dollar, because I think the technicals here are really interesting, and the market is approaching a really critical level that goes all the way back to 2021. So if we go out here to the 3-day time frame, okay, we've talked about this before, but you can see where we have a trend line off of this low from down here in 2021, and we've got several lows off of this trend line. Now, this right here was a fake out to start 2024, and this is what we traded in the VIP area. In fact, I was getting long through here, which did play out relatively well, despite the fact the market has been really choppy this year. But we have this ascending channel down here that the market is approaching this week. And we've also got this resistance up here, which is very clear, okay, up here around 1.387. So this could be, okay, it could be an ascending triangle, which would be a bullish pattern. But the market has to hold above this trend line down here, which again, it is approaching this week. Now, if you look at the weekly time frame as well, this is also something that we've mentioned on this channel here, where you can see that we've got these highs up here and we've got lows going all the way back to 2015. Okay, so the fact that the market is coming off of support down here, it did always look like we were, likely to get a rally, okay, up here into this area over the coming months or even years. But so far we haven't seen that, simply because this resistance around 1.387 has been incredibly strong. Okay, you can see back here we've got these lows through here, and now we've got these highs. Okay, so resistance has been very strong for the dollar CAD, up around 1.387. Now, let's go to what we're looking for this week from this market. Okay, so looking at the daily chart, we've got this area down here. So this is going to be a confluence of support here for this pair. You can see that this is that 2021 channel, okay, that comes in down here. And we've got these highs up here off of this descending trend line that also come in right there in that area. Okay, so 1.365 is going to be the area to watch here for the dollar CAD this week. Okay, now I would like to see bullish price action from here. I would not be looking to blindly buy this market down here in this area. And another reason too that I wouldn't do that is what you'll notice back here, what this market tends to do, especially this year with how choppy it's been, is if you'll notice right back here, we got this low right here, it looked like the market was bottoming, okay, based on this support area. And then it consolidated, and then it took out that low, and then it rebounded, okay? So that's really critical because this market has been doing exactly that all year long. So what I would be looking for, okay, if this is going to turn into a buy, if the DXY can finally find some support, then what I would be looking for is potentially something like this. Now, again, it's going to depend on if this happens. I am not going to blindly buy this. But if we were to get a retest down here, some sideways movement like this, okay, liquidity builds up below those lows, then we get a move below them and a reclaim. If we were to get that, then I would be looking for longs, okay, on that reclaim, right, for that move higher. Something like that would be textbook for this market, but it's only if we get it. If we don't, and we see this market closing below here, a sustained break below this, then that would be bearish for the dollar CAD. Okay, so this is one of those wait and see moments here for the dollar CAD. I want to see some consolidation down here. I want to see liquidity build up, and then I want to see that liquidity taken before we get a reclaim and a push higher. Okay, so as of right now, despite the fact that, you know, the US dollar does look relatively bearish, when you look at this chart here, okay, going all the way back to 2021 in this trend line, you know, this is something where I would potentially be looking to buy down here at this confluence of support, but only if we get the appropriate price action. And last up, guys, we have gold, XAUUSD. So the market broke out on Friday, like a lot of these other markets, a bit surprising, again, just because it was a relatively quiet day in terms of event risk. But you can see here from gold, what we have this market doing, going all the way back here to April, is back here it was moving within this slightly ascending channel. Okay, so we've got these lows down here. We've got highs up here in this area. Okay, and Friday gave us a breakout above those highs. So right now we do have a confluence of support coming in right around 24.75. That is the area that buyers are going to have to hold early this week. Like I said with the pound, you don't want to see gold coming back here to retest this area immediately. If we were to get something like this here, okay, an immediate retest on like Monday or Tuesday, you know, a very aggressive retest, that could be indicative of a fake out on Friday, okay? So, you know, keep an eye on that. You want to see a rounded retest into this area and then a bounce, you know, potentially up here toward like 25.60. Now, the reason 25.60 is on my radar is you can see here that off of these lows, okay, right back here, we've got these lows through here. Okay, so we have a trend line off of those lows. However, you can take that one step further and take it and draw a parallel channel off of these highs. Now, when you do that, you get an area that comes in, an area of resistance that comes in right around 25.50 to 25.60. Okay, so this is one way, guys, using channels like this to identify resistance areas in a market that is trading at all-time highs, because we know for gold, right, if we go to the weekly time frame, the market has never been up here before. Okay, so identifying resistance areas can be a bit tricky, but using channels like this does make it a lot easier. Okay, so for gold right now, guys, we do have a breakout above 24.75. That's the area that has to hold. And we have resistance coming in based on the top of this channel here, right around 25.50 all the way up to about 25.60. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. Don't forget to join us in VIP, get lifetime access and 90% off. That offer does end at the end of this month. See the link in the description of this video, or if you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.